All right, everyone. This is my very first interview of my retired friend,
You betcha.
Fergie. Fergie, how long have you been retired?
I retired in 1990. So that would be 26 years, but 8.5 years I went and was a liaison police officer for Richfield High School for 8.5 years.
Right.
I ran their athletic department. A really nice job. I really liked it. So, but retired out of Minneapolis in 1990.
And you were a Minneapolis police officer, correct?
Right, on the north side.
Wow.
Street crimes down out of the courthouse.
So you were on the streets.
21 years at least.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real scary situation out there right now.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
different. And how old are you now?
I'm 87.
87.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about your retirement. You know, when you retired, did you move? Did you relocate up?
Well, yeah, I more or less worked on my cabin for about 3 years, put the water in and everything, get it where I could stay all summer. But I moved up here in about right after I retired. Like I said, I've been up here about 26 years.
Right.
And so we live here year round now.
You do.
Yep.
So you don't have your place down in the cities
I
anymore?
just sold that.
You just sold
and
it.
It took me 3 months to sell it in Richfield down there.
Right.
Yeah, everything's got to be by code now. So it took a little while to sell it, but it's over with, thank God. So.
Right. How did you prepare for your retirement? How did you prepare for it?
Well, I do a lot of artwork, and I have 7 shows a year, so that keeps me pretty busy. So I wasn't worried about making a living.
Right.
After I left the police department, and I got a good pension. So, you know, so then I picked up odd jobs that I liked instead of the ones I had to do I didn't like.
I can relate to that, for
Right.
sure.
So anyhow, it worked out real good for me. And in the high school, like I said, 8.5 years was a real blessing there.
Right, right.
And I'm just happy I did it when I can do it, you know.
Yes.
Because I was 51 years old.
Yeah.
So
And you told me a long time ago you had one great experience with a very famous musician at the Richfield High School. Tell us about that.
That was our prince. Johnson is his real name. I knew his dad. Dad made barbecue all the time for the cops and that. Real nice guy. Looks just like him too, really. Small little guy. And I got a call when I was working at North High School. I worked there also for about 5 years in Henry High School in the inner city. And I got a call from the principal. I had my office right by his because I took care of all the gang members and things like that. He said, "Fergie, we're going to have a fight today, I hear. A gang member by the name of Brazil is supposed to beat up this little kid." He said he was a young guy. So he said, "Go down there and see what you can do." Well, I was walking down the hallway at 2:30 when school's letting out, and I see 2 guys coming down the hallway, real small guys. And one guy had a Viking headband on, Viking leggings cut off, and a little rabbit jacket, real small. And I said, "Well, guys, if you're here for a fight, I'm the designated fighter today." And they said they had no idea that this gang was going to get them. It would have been a mess. Anyhow, so I got his name, and he said, Johnson. And I said, "Well, hey guys," I said, "you got some bad news for you. The gang is going to bushwhack you, so I'm going to walk you back out to your cars. You leave." And he said, "That's fine." Real nice, polite, real
And this was Prince. This was everyone knows him as Prince.
So I'm walking them out, and they had a maroon Toyota, a real beat out one, him and his buddy. And I just said, I'll see you guys later. You can see your girlfriend later. And he said, that's fine. So I had no more problem with that gang that day. So about maybe 20 years later, I get a call down at First Avenue. That's a place where all the musicians play and everything, downtown Hennepin. That there was a fight there. So I get down there, and here was Prince, and there was a fight in the thing. And I looked at him, and I said, I remember you at North High. He says, oh, you're the cop. And I said, yeah. He said, I want to thank you. And I said, well, that's fine. I said, no, it was no problem done. I just wanted you to be aware of this Brazil guy, because he's a bad actor. And to this day, then I see him on TV all the time, and I'm going, wow, I had that guy. And I should have took that little rabbit jacket. I'd have been worth a lot of money then. But he was a cute little dude. He sure was.
And he was
real polite.
Nice and polite. Oh,
you betcha. He was had a real good personality, that guy did.
And he came from a good family. He said his father was a good guy. Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Great to hear.
So that took care of Prince.
Yeah.
And of course, you know what happened there. But
yeah. So back to retirement. Do you have any specific routines you do? Are you routine-orientated retired gentleman?
Oh yeah. I deal a lot with a lot of the guys I used to work with in that too. You know, we sort of reminisce, and we call each other on our birthdays and stuff like that. That's a normal thing to do when you work with a guy over 20 years, you know. Right. But a lot of them are gone now, so.
Yeah. So you do stay in touch with some of your coworkers?
Yeah. Well, I've had 7 partners shot.
7 partners shot in your career?
Jerry Hoff, I worked with him downtown. He got shot by gang members. And a guy named Dick Miller was ambushed, killed outright. And I had Skammer shot. He was shot in Vietnam too, so we used to call him Bullet Magnet.
Bullet Magnet? Jeez.
And then I had Pat Kiley was shot. Anyhow, it was 7 partners I've had shot.
Have you been shot at? Have you?
Yes, I have, and I've been stabbed in the right leg.
Wow.
I had to shoot 4 people. I wounded, the first one I had, the guy was from Vietnam. He started freaking out. He got in a fight with his girlfriend, and she threatened to call in and get his benefits taken away, which she was just egging him on, and he freaked out, took a .357 and went outside and started threatening everybody. So I got him up on by the 7-Eleven store on Lowry North, and I worked with my partner, and I told him to go down the alley and more or less drive him up my way. So I got behind a white pickup, Chevy pickup, put the shotgun over the thing, and maybe 15 minutes later, my partner said, he's coming your way. So here he come, and he had a big German Shepherd, and he had it on a leash. And when I yelled to him, it's all over with, drop the gun, and nothing will be. I yelled 7 times, according to the witness. The lady was come out the porch, and I said, lady, there's a guy with a gun, so go under and lay in your bed, under the bed, until it's all over with. She didn't panic or anything. She was a good witness when this was all taken care of. And I yelled at least 7 times, drop the gun. He kept coming, and then he went into a combat stance, so I knew he was in the military, so I fired my shotgun. Hit him on the right shoulder, wounded his dog, and the rest of the 6, I was in a double-lock buck. It was 6 of them went into the garage in the telephone poles. So I thought I killed him because he wasn't standing, he was in a garden laying, and he started crawling through the garden, and I could probably shot him, but I didn't. So my radio was out, so he runs across the street, and he hands the gun to the neighbor, which I didn't know he lived a couple doors away. And when the squads come in, they thought this guy did the shooting, but he didn't. So they needless to say, they put him under control. And I told him the guy ran behind the bushes over there, and we got him eventually. Took him down and arrested him. He thanked me for not killing him. Took him to the hospital, get him patched up.
And he survived.
But I'm just saying, I thought I'd disintegrate him because he was no longer around. And his dog, he was hitting the left hind end, and I guess they took care of him.
Wow.
At the rescue down there. So it was a scary thing. That was the first shooting. And then I had one at Mississippi courts, which was a notorious deal. I got a call back up that there was a guy shooting at the city workers across the river. So when I pulled up, the squad was already there, and it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And as I'm getting out of the door, and I get in, right, my gun over the door, a guy comes screaming out, starts shooting, and we fired 3 rounds. And one of my bullets hit him with a .357, and they had Glocks, 9mm. So that was scary. He died on the scene. But the other ones that I could have shot and killed probably, but I didn't. So
yeah,
it was scary.
Yep,
scary.
I bet.
Well, then you go to the grand jury on them, and there's 20-some people out there, never been around any kind of a law enforcement deal, and they ask you the craziest questions. Had this one woman ask me, when did you know when to shoot? I says, honey, you'll know when to shoot. Guy coming at you, and you have all the warnings in the world, and he's still coming. You had no choice.
Right. Sometimes they put you in that position, and
yeah,
you have
well,
no
I
choice.
had no choice, yeah.
Right. It's either you or him, so.
Yeah.
So since I'm going to change gears on you here. We'll come back to your police stuff. Since you've retired, have you had any health issues at all? Anything that's really hit you?
You know, I've had what they call a low form of it's a syndrome. It doesn't make enough blood on its own for maybe I go 3 months and then I get a shot. It sort of builds my immunity up.
Yeah.
But I've had it 35 years.
Yeah, you seem to be doing pretty good for 35 years.
Think I can live with this.
Yeah, yeah.
I talk to my doctor all the time out of Kiona, Crosby, Minnesota. And he says some kids get that syndrome when they're 5 and 6 years old. And he says, that's a long life. I said, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, for my age, I work out 3 times a week.
You answered another one of my questions. Yes, you do.
Silver Sneakers.
Yeah.
And it does help me, you know. It's hell to get 87, but where'd time go?
Yeah.
I'm
I'm a firm believer in staying active, you know.
Yeah, that's it. I do all my, do a lot of fishing, do a little golfing yet.
Oh,
do
you
a lot of
golf?
painting.
You didn't know you golf?
Yeah, I go out and hit all the range. I used to be in a golf club.
So what are your hobbies? Tell me about your hobbies in retirement.
I got many.
Cool.
I was in partnership with a sports club, Jerry's. I was on Richfield. Mm-hmm. Me and 2 other coppers ran it. And when I sold out, I get tons of, the sports cards are real good.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, I got a couple sheds full of cards I give to kids and stuff like that. And I ran the Minneapolis Police where we gave out free baseball, football, hockey cards to the kids on the street, which is a good program. Put out by the 7-Eleven stores and so forth. But I do that, and of course I paint quite a bit, like I say.
Wildlife primarily, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, wildlife is my deal, but I do a lot of scenery. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of commissions, dogs and stuff like that. So that keeps me pretty busy there. That's a full-time job, really.
Yeah.
But I divide my time, and I fish a lot from my lake. And it's a good time.
I remember many, many years ago when you and I first met, gosh, it's got to be 30 years I've known you, Fergie, at least, that you said when you were going through all the stuff you did as a Minneapolis police officer that you were going to get through this and you were going to fish every single day when you retired. And how's that going? You're trying to get almost every day.
At least I can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I can do it now.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about meeting the deadlines and going. And then I was on Special Operations Division where you're on 24-hour call for about 3 years. And that was a tough 3 years because you're on call all the time. But it's a younger man's job, and I think everybody should do it if they're a Minneapolis cop, that try the different divisions.
Yeah.
They had a program they called Career Enrichment. I got to be homicide for a while, theft, hit and run, you name it. And I picked forgery. I was in there for a while. So you pick out the job that you want to be associated with, and I took the street. It's just the deal where you're more or less your own boss. And then I took over I worked out of HCMC. I run the detox wagon and the crisis unit, more or less. I'd take people in, and they had a crisis unit on the street. And if they were homeless and laying in the gutter, I picked them up and took them down to General Hospital, and we fixed them up. And put a 72-hour hold on them, and just hope that they turn out okay at the detox.
Yeah.
It's a tough life for them people. I don't know how they can do that. But
So at 87 years old, do you still have a bucket list of things you want to achieve in your...
well, I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I've been... When I retired, I traveled all over. I went to Hawaii, Bermuda. And I worked on a fishing boat out of Washington State, out of Gig Harbor. Went up to San Juan Island, so I saw Victoria at night, beautiful. And we seen salmons, and the salmon that we caught were taken to Seattle for Pike Market, Peaks down there where they throw the fish.
Yeah.
That was really interesting. They come out and picked them up and took them in and started throwing them in Pike's Market down there in Seattle. That was a good job. I liked that. Spent about 6-7 days on the water every year for a couple of years when I retired. So I worked on that fishing boat, and them salmon are worth money now, about $49 a pound. Wow.
Yeah. So, do you have any regrets at all? Any regrets?
I wouldn't do nothing different.
Right on.
Nothing
Good for you.
different,
Good
no.
for you.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't have a very good childhood. My dad took off when I was 11 years old, and I didn't see him until I was 23 years old, so that's 13 years later.
well,
But he's your dad, you know, but
yeah.
it was a hard deal. I played in about maybe 280. I was an all-state football player, all-state in track, and all-state wrestling, and he never saw one of my matches.
Wow.
That hurt me the most, but it made me a better person, you know, deep down, because he hated my mother so much that just couldn't figure out why he left me, but he did. So.
You know, I think, you and I have a little similar story with my situation, but it gives you more compassion. You're filled with, like the people in the gutters you were talking about. I'm sure you had compassion for those people. They didn't.
Well, that's why I worked out of North High School at the liaison, because I grew up like most of them kids. That most of them don't have fathers, and they're just dumped.
Yep.
So I took a especially interest in them. And this kid, the Alameen basketball player, his mother was an alcoholic. I was over her house all the time to get him through. Said it didn't affect him. Now he's a coach at St. Thomas, I believe, in Minnesota.
Wow. He made it.
So I nurtured him through high school.
I'm sure he's very, very grateful.
He played for Connecticut. He was an All-American.
I'm sure he's very grateful for your kindness.
Yeah. Well, I knew I grew up the same way as most of them did, on the streets. And I was fortunate that I got involved with sports, so it saved me from any problems.
So I know you've had some interesting things happen to you in your life, and you brought a couple of mementos here, and I don't know one of them is in regards to one of the Russian leaders.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us what you did with one of the Russian leaders.
I don't know how I was even picked, but basically I think it was in the district I worked downtown and out of street crimes, and they wanted 2 guards to take them around and show them the state capitol, and they had a farm out by Lakeview that Khrushchev visited, so they wanted to see how that looked compared to when he was here last.
The leader of Russia, Khrushchev.
Yeah, And that was the first leader. And then I had Gorbachev. So we took him, the scout team out there, and they didn't like the situation. They said there was too many trees now out there and that.
At the Lakeville farm?
So we pulled out of there and went to the state capitol. Took Gorbachev over there.
Wow.
Yeah, Russians are Russians. That's all I got to tell you. They're all business. All business.
And who was one of the guards that was from Russia that you got to meet?
I wasn't assigned to him, but he was one of the 16 guys that when we met, he was there. A little skinny little guy with blonde hair, I'll never forget it. Looked like the smallest guy of the bunch, because most of them are really built. Never did really hear his name. They just said he's one of the colonels.
A colonel in the KGB.
So then I got to see him on TV one day, and I said, well, that was Gorbachev, or that was Putin.
So
Putin was on that detail, but he took the Gorbachev's wife, the redhead.
Yeah.
He was on her detail, and I had Gorbachev.
So Putin was with the KGB, and you saw him amongst all that crowd.
Must have just started. He wasn't on that long, because he was a young guy then.
Yeah.
It's been a long time now.
Amazing. So not only did you see Putin.
Now everybody knows him now.
Yeah, everybody. And you got to guard or assist in the travel of Gorbachev.
Right.
Wow. And what do you have there? You have some mementos or something?
Yeah, this is what they gave me when they got on the plane. They were different people.
So they gave you all that stuff, huh?
Yeah, they gave me all this stuff.
That's all Russian?
I gave them a couple police badges and that.
Wow.
And this is all KGB, all tough, hardcore people.
Yep. And then you have an award.
And all the details I was assigned when I was out of street crimes. This is a plaque. It's at South High School now, Wall of Honor. But they only had the line for 8 lines, and I'll tell you who they put down. They had Gorbachev, of course, Jesse Jackson. I was Jay Leno's bodyguard, Jimmy Carter's, Chuck Norris, and many more when I worked at Mystic Lake. I had Chris Rock, Carrot Top, Tom Jones.
So you were their security while they were at the casino?
They call us rovers. We take them to their wardroom and that, and make sure there's nobody in there screwing around. And
yeah.
That's at Mystic Lake. I worked there about 1.5 years. So I had all the entertainers that came there.
And you?
Willie Nelson.
Wow.
Tim Gorman. Tim Conway rather than Gorman. All the big stars that come out to Mystic.
Wow. And you?
I had Olivia Newton-John, Barbara Eden, I.G. Magini.
Yeah, wow.
Pretty lady, pretty lady.
And you spoke of a couple of those people that were just wonderful people. Some not so wonderful, but you said 2 of them. I know
there was a couple guys I didn't really care for. Don Rickles was one of them, and the other one was Bill Crosby. But Crosby had a reason because his son was killed by a Russian immigrant out in California. I guess he was beaten by a tire iron.
Wow. So who were the good ones? Who were the really good ones?
Oh, I say Jay Leno was one of them. If you can't get along with him and Chuck Norris, they were top of my line. Really good guys.
Yeah.
I know Chuck Norris. He just passed on, but he loved Chinese or Mexican food, so I ate food with him.
Wow.
He said, "Come on, Uncle." I said, "No, I'll watch your back."
That was your job.
Yeah, my job.
Yeah.
So I got along with him real good. He's a true American, I knew that. And Jay Leno's funny, you know, he liked to, I says, well, what do you like to do? I says, you know, I got a call, so I have to go. He said, yeah. Is there any farmers markets or anything? I go, the only one today, it was a Thursday, is Lebanese, or the Chinese, and the Hmong's got one on Nicollet Avenue. I'll drop you up down there, and I'll check on you about every hour. He said, that's fine.
So wait a minute.
He was down there in that farmer's market all day.
You took Jay Leno to a farmer's market?
Yep.
And he walked around on his own?
On his own, more or less, because I had that whole that district. But that's before he really made it. He just got the job there.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't want nothing to happen to him.
Yeah.
But I was around there when we went down. In fact, I ate some vegetables down there with him. And, yeah, real nice guy, real down to earth. So he's still going.
Well, Fergie, I really appreciate you giving me your time, but do you have any words of wisdom at all at your age, 87, all the things you've experienced in your life? Anything that you...
I'll tell you what I used to tell the rookies. I trained them for 8 years for the city of Minneapolis. And I get them on dog watch.
What's dog watch? For the
It's from 10 at night to 6 in the morning.
Okay.
And that's where all the activity is. I used to take them right in the heart of Plymouth Avenue down there. We call it the bricks. And when I said, this is what you're going to be dealing with. See them 2 guys coming? They're coming our way? Yeah. I want you to ask them one simple question. Which way were they coming from? And where are they coming from? So I think all my rookies, I had 1 a year, 12 a year, for 8 years, so figure out about 80 guys. Where are you guys coming from? Point the opposite direction. What were you doing over there? Just talking over there. Well, they just come from there. So he said, did you learn anything? He said, they lied to me. I said, so? I'm going to tell you 3 things. Keep low, watch your back, and get a new goddamn job. That's exactly what I told all the rookies. Yeah, it was an experience. And all rookies, you know, some of them are not from in the city, so they get eaten alive for the first 6 months, boy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had to take care of them through that point. I got no saying now. I live every day to the fullest. That's all you can do.
Yep.
And hope for the best.
Well, forget.
And I go to church now and then.
Yep.
So I'm aware of that. But other than that, I just go every day and do what I think I can do, and that's it.
Right on, right on.
So I come up with a pretty good deal, 26 years, and
yeah,
with still moving around.
Well, I'm so happy for you. You know, you knew my father many years ago.
I think about him all the time.
Yep, yep. You guys.
My old South High buddy. He went to South High School like I did.
Well, I thank you very much for giving me this time. It's an amazing story you've had. You've had such an amazing life, amazing wife, and you just are.
Yeah,
you're blessed.
I tell him stories. He goes, oh. I says, Maury, he says, thank God we ain't South now. I was over there about a month ago on a stabbing in the hallway. Blood all over. Wow. Yeah. He says, yeah, we grew up a different time. I said, thank God. We went to the old South. It's a new South now. It's a war zone. Graffiti all over. Phones are all broken. Yeah. Just no respect, man. Yeah, it all changed. No. So, well, thank you very much for your time. Well, thank you for taking the time. And very interesting. You know, like I said, I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I hope somebody been in some of the places I've been. Yeah, yeah. And sure there's other, but thank you very much for telling us your story and your life. So.